think about magic, and you think about even in the fairy tales or things like that, old stories of magic, one thing that's very common in regards to how magic is operated is through the use of magic words. Magic words. And magic words really work. And as long as you know how to work them, they work really, really well. Now, there's a lot of different levels on which you can work magic words, and we're only going to talk about one that I find the most powerful. But there are different theories of magic words. Some are based on purely vibration. So there are, like if you get, I think it was Ray Buckland who had that book called Chantomatics. It's a lot of nonsense words, but it's basically, I think a lot of his stuff was channeled. Basically, you chant these words, and it's a sonic thing. So it's the actual vibration of the words that's supposed to make things happen. That's not quite what we're talking about here, although I'm not saying that it doesn't work or that it can't work, but that's not quite what we're going to talk about today. And then there's also the sacred words, like in the Kabbalah, the God names and things like that you can chant. And those do have a very, very important place in magic, and we do use them, especially in things like the angelic silence as a form of mantra type of work. But what I want to talk to you today about is the idea of seed thoughts. So let's start out by thinking about affirmations. That's something that most people are familiar with, affirmations. The idea that you can tell your deep mind what you want by telling it in the present tense that it's already so. For instance, if you want more money, you might say, I am now wealthy, or I'm prosperous and wealthy now. If you're going through some health problems, you can say, I'm perfectly healthy now. The problem that people usually are confronted with when they are working with affirmations is very oftentimes they don't work. Unfortunately, they can work, but often they don't. And it's understandable if you just think about it logically. If you think about the fact that your deep mind is there to keep status quo. That's what it's there for. It's not there to say, okay, change anything you want. Let's just change. Your deep mind is there to just keep everything very, very status quo. This is the way things are. So if you have health problems, you have health problems. If you have money problems, you have money problems. The attitude of the deep mind is not so fast. We don't do change around here. Status quo. So basically, what the deep mind will do is when you give it new information or data, if it doesn't compute, it just rejects it. It just rejects it. And it's just basically, it says this is a lie. So I am now wealthy. It says, no, you're not. Most people that work with affirmations are disappointed with the outcome. But what we can do is look at the fact that we can use words in order to create an experience that we want, if we understand that the deep mind needs us to do that in a way that doesn't cause any controversy, that doesn't cause any negative response from the deep mind. And that's why rather than I am wealthy and prosperous, the word wealth is enough. If you just say wealth to your deep mind, it's not going to reject it because there's nothing to reject. It's wealth. There is wealth. Your deep mind can't say, no, there's no wealth. There is wealth. You can see wealth anywhere you go. There's wealth in the ground. When plants come up, there's wealth in the city. When you look at all the buildings and the beautiful cars that people drive around, and nice. If you look in magazines, you see all these beautiful clothes that people buy. There's wealth. There is wealth, and so your deep mind is not going to shut that down because that is part of status quo. There is wealth. So when you think of the word wealth and you meditate on that word wealth and you work with that word wealth in magical ways, it has a very powerful effect because it starts to take root and grow inside your mind and actually bear fruit. Similar to how we work Psalms. It's a thought seed that is implanted, and if you fertilize it and if you take care of it, it can really grow. And so the way that you can work this is, instead of thinking, I am wealthy, think of what it is that you want as an abstract principle, and use that single word as your magic word. Some other magic word ideas before we talk about how we can implement them and how we can actually install these words into our deep mind and plant these seeds. The word health, the word success, the word relationship, the word marriage, the word mate, the word youth, whatever it is that you're looking for, car, whatever your seed word is, you discover it, you decide about it, then you can build your magic around the actual magic word. Now, the way that you work the magic is however you like. For instance, if you're working like a candle spell, let's say you wanted to do a spell for money. Let's say you wanted to increase your money by, I don't know, you wanted to increase your income 20% this year or something like that. So you decided to do a spell for that. So what you would do is write your petition out. This is a spell to increase my money for, 20% or whatever. But then you write the word wealth on your candle. You just write the word wealth on your candle. And you burn the candle and you think the word wealth like a mantra silently, or you chant it out loud. And then you go to sleep with that on your mind, and you wake up with that word on your mind, and you just keep going. No matter what happens, no matter where you are or what you're doing, especially anytime you're confronted with the idea that you're having financial problems, is you just say wealth. That's how you respond to it. You don't say, I am wealthy, or I'm becoming wealthier and wealthier every moment, or wealth now replaces this. You don't give direction to your deep mind. You just keep planting the seed. Wealth. You know how we do that magic minute? Instead of using the words blessed be for your meditation, you just use the word wealth for your meditation. On every inhale, you say the word wealth, and on every exhale, you say the word wealth. Unless you're working with 2 seeds. You can work with 2. More than 2 is a little bit much, but if you were doing like wealth and success, you could inhale wealth and exhale success, especially if you're trying to get your business together, wealth and success. And yes, you can in your magic, in your actual spell, you can map out what it is that your actual goal is. But when it comes to planting the seed, you don't want to plant a big long affirmation. You want to plant a single word. Now, another thing you can do is write your name on a piece of paper, and you've seen me do this, and just do a single seed, though. Write your name on a piece of paper, and then write the word underneath it, and then put a circle around it. And then that's a talisman. As soon as you put that circle around it, that's a talisman. And you can hide that talisman away where nobody sees it. Just don't put anything on top of it. Put it like on top of a bookcase or in a drawer where it can sit with nothing on top of it. And what that's doing is that's broadcasting those seeds. It's really broadcasting those seeds into your deep mind. And you can, like I said, when you wake up in the morning, you think that word for a little while. As you're going to sleep, you kind of lull yourself to sleep with that word. And you work with that singular or maybe 2 seed thoughts. And you should see things start to happen fairly rapidly. And if you don't see movement in the right direction within a couple of weeks, abandon that particular seed thought, because there must be something that's being rejected for some reason. Rarely does that happen. It's harder for your deep mind to want to reject something that's abstract like that. It's usually only when you're telling it what to do that it tends to reject it. But if you're just planting a seed, it has to accept the seed. It's just law. It has to accept the seed. Your deep mind is like fertile earth, and it accepts whatever seed that you plant into it. But there are guards at the gate, and they don't allow certain seeds to be planted if it seems to be disruptive to what the deep mind considers to be the status quo. So if you're giving it a sentence, it'll usually reject that because it looks at it as a lie, and it says no, and it rejects it. And theoretically, and I know a lot of people have had success with it, if you really keep bombarding it with that sentence, over time, it may relent. But oftentimes it does not. But it does not seem to reject a single thought, a single word. Now, you can also, there's another way to use this concept in regards to magic that's the magic word, and that is having a personal magic word. Having a personal magic word that's sort of all purpose. So this is something that you want to work with your inner guidance on, and just ask, what's my magic word? What's my personal magic word? And let it sort of germinate for a while. You may get it in a flash. Somebody may say something to you. Somebody may send something to you. You may see something on a billboard or on a bumper sticker that just clicks with you. It really doesn't matter what it is ultimately, but it should be something that feels right to you. And what this is, regardless of what the word is, I mean, it can be the word Coca-Cola. It ultimately doesn't matter what it is, but once you decide and you really know that this is your word, you can start working with that word on a regular daily basis. Similar to how like transcendental meditation uses an inner mantra that you pay a lot of money for, that's your specific mantra. You can work with it the same way. Now, when we do that magic minute, we are doing something similar as well. We are focusing on the phrase "blessed be." On the inhale, you silently think the word blessed. On the exhale, you silently think the word be. But once you've discovered your own personal magic word, you can think that word on the inhale and on the exhale. Now, you may have a magic phrase. It may be 2 words, but let's not have more than 2 words. Let's not have more than 2 words for your magic word or your magic phrase. And what happens is that as over time, this builds up a lot of power with you. And so that no matter what the deal is, whatever needs to be taken care of, your magic word is the key by which you unlock your power to make that change happen. I'm not saying that this would be your word, but let's say your word was alakazam. I'm just saying that, okay? It probably won't be that word. Let's say your word was alakazam. Now, anybody that just says alakazam, nothing's going to happen. But if you've been working with your own personal word over time, then you're thinking or saying that word, and again, this is something that you should always keep secret. Something that you don't want to divulge to anybody. It needs to be kept secret if you want it to be powerful. But after you've been working with that word over time, it has so much power that, especially if you're not using it frivolously, anytime that your need is great, you can wave that word over any situation and watch it change and watch it heal and watch it break up and watch it conform to your will. Now, if your will is in alignment with your divine design, with your soul's will, whatever your life's purpose is here, then that magic word is going to have so much power because it's going to just pull everything right into alignment with where it's supposed to be. Okay, and so then you can use that word and make changes happen. Sometimes it happens immediately and sometimes it takes a while, but it's just working with the word over and over and over again. And like I said, the best way to work with your personal magic word for a while is just through daily meditation. But once you've built up that power over time, especially over several months of working with that every single day, then you can actually use it practically and apply it to situations that need healing, that need to come into balance, that need to be aligned. And again, if you're working with that inner guidance so that your will is in alignment with the universal will, the divine design of your life is what your goal is, then it's so much the better, because you're not saying my personal will is now this and therefore I'm going to say my magic word and expect my personal will to be done. Instead, your magic word is keying you into that entire magnetic field, which is your soul, which pulls everything right into perfect alignment with where it needs to be. So if there's a problem with money, that's not part of the divine design. So you can use your magic word on that and pull everything right into the right pattern that it's supposed to be. Without you having to come up with, well, this needs to be like this, and this needs to be like that, and this needs to be like this, coming up with your own personal will and saying, I'm going to impose my will on this situation using this word. Instead, I'm using this word to align myself with my soul's divine design, and therefore everything's going to change and alter to come in alignment with that. And it can work very quickly. So those are 2 very, very powerful powerful and important ways to work with magic words. One is basically just seed thoughts instead of affirmations, seed thoughts. So taking a single word of your own native language that represents what it is that you desire as an abstract thought and plant those seeds into your mind on a regular daily basis until you see results starting to happen. That's the first way to do that. And the second thing is by finding your own personal magic word. And that comes through asking for it and meditating on it, and then accepting it once you decide that it's good, that you like it, and then using it as a mantra, as similar to how we use the magic minute on a regular daily basis over time, so that you can then use that word in order to create change on the physical world when you want things to start to fall in line with the divine design when it looks like things are off base. All right. So I hope that was interesting and helpful for you today. Let's work with those magic word concepts and see if you don't get some great success. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us on our Facebook group or on our online forum. And until next time, much love and many, many blessings.